Welcome to IHIP News. Pamps, what's going on?
Well, as you know, we were talking yesterday about Merrick Garland. Is he going to have the courage to release the special counsel report? And he has indicated that he will release the report as to the January 6th insurrection. However, he did say he would not release the second report because it could prejudice the defendants in the Florida case, the co-defendants with Trump. My thought on that is when are you going to do it? When are we going to get our eyeballs on it? And what I think he ought to do is give it to Joe Biden and let Joe Biden release both reports and say, I have presidential immunity. No judge can tell me what to do because it's an official act and everybody should read it. And I think it should be immediate. I don't think we should pussyfoot around with this. And as Merrick Garland, he's so cautious. He wants to do everything right, blah, blah. It's like, release the fucking report. You're on your way out.
I think that's a brilliant idea to give it to Joe Biden. And right before it's Jover, he can say, F you, Supreme Court, F you, Donald Trump, right. I have immunity. Here you go. Let me ask you this. Is there anything different in Jack Smith's report than the January 6th committee?
I haven't read it, obviously, but my inclination is yes, because the January 6th committee did not have subpoena power over electronic messages. It couldn't force people to testify under oath. And the Justice Department was able to do all of that. They have all of the electronic data.
Did they follow the money?
Messages. Follow the money.
Did they follow the money about who funded that and funded all the transportation for a lot of those people to get there?
I don't know, but I bet they did.
Because that's what I've always been curious about. A lot of these people arrived in buses.
Right.
Who organized and who paid for that?
We're getting ready to find out. I can't imagine it's not somebody connected to Trump. I would have a hard time believing Trump personally funded it because he's so fucking cheap. And he never pays for anything. He doesn't even pay his workers. But it's absolutely got to be tied to him. And my guess is they did follow the money because that's the easiest thing to prove, the financial transaction.
So can Joe Biden, can he say, hey, Merrick Garland, give me those reports? And
yes.
That's perfectly legal?
Yes.
And then he can say, I'm releasing these to the public as a presidential act.
As an official act.
Official act of my presidency.
Right. And the Supreme Court, who is so madly in love with Donald Trump,
can't do a thing about it.
Can't do a thing about it.
You are so smart. You are as sharp as a tack. I love it. That is a great idea.
Well, on that note, going from sharp as a tack, such as myself, to the dumbest motherfucker alive, the president-elect, who is like on and on about changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Uh-huh. He got trolled by the president of Mexico. She put a map up from 1607, and I would have played the clip, but it was in Spanish. But basically, she said, this portion of the world, which was the United States, used to be Mexico America, but we're not calling it that. I mean, she trolled him so well. I loved it. But with our theme of dumb versus smart.
Right.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I assume is every bit as dumb as she is crazy.
Right.
She's all over the world today announcing that her office staff is drafting legislation to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I mean, that's her top priority.
This is just such puffery. It is just such blowhard bullshit. Nobody gives a shit what the name of that is. Nobody cares. Do you think that all of the people that live in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, their life is going to be impacted by this? No. And so my thing is, if all of MAGA wants to call it the Gulf of America, call it the Gulf of America. Right. I don't give a shit. I'm still going to call it the Gulf of Mexico. But I was with our friend last night at a basketball game, our mutual friend, and she said, I bet you the reason why he wants to do this, it's another grift, because then they can start selling merchandise, the Gulf of America. It's another way for the riffraff and knickknacks, because why would he care?
Why would he care?
He's going to market it and sell it, and all of the people in old Marge's district that can't afford eggs
Right.
are going to be buying, along with their Trump Bibles and the earrings and the Christmas ornaments and the, talking Trump fish and all that crazy ass bullshit, the cologne.
That he smells like shit, universally known.
The Trump cologne. So now they can buy their Gulf of America T-shirt merch. And I bet she's probably right.
New maps.
Yeah.
New maps.
New maps. Big grift there.
Okay, so here is something I just read. Speaking of grift, Jeff Bezos has agreed to pay Melania Trump $40 million.
What?
To do a documentary about her time in the White House for Amazon Prime.
I literally want to vomit.
Now, I saw that. I personally have not verified that, but those are the reports. Jeff Bezos, $40 million. So in my mind, I'm thinking, can you imagine if Jill Biden got paid $40 million during her term as First Lady to go around and talk about, her job as First Lady? First of all, Melania Trump does fucking nothing. I mean, her Be Best campaign, how long is that documentary going to go? Her good works, saying she didn't give a fuck about Christmas. I mean, come on.
Right.
$40 million. That's what is being reported.
That is insane. Here's the thing. Melania has all of the same levels of grievances that Trump does. Mm-hmm. And she has been horribly upset for a very long time that Anna Wintour, the goddess that she is, the head of Vogue magazine, refuses to put any Trump on the cover of Vogue, breaking tradition, because typically a first lady is on the cover of Vogue. And Anna Wintour, who just got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Biden last week, she says, you're not getting it, Melania. And so whenever he's reminded of this, he loves to just, they have these shared grievances. So, but here's my thing. Like, why is Jeff Bezos, why that suck up?
Well, obviously, I mean, his suck ups of late have been glaring. I mean, I think it's just the billionaire oligarchy.
Do you think he's like scared that Elon is going to have rockets? It's a rocket thing?
That's what I think. It's a rocket thing. Plus, his workers are trying to unionize.
Think about this from like a Freudian type thing. Rocket, penis,
right,
rising, all of the stuff. And so this is like a dick measuring contest.
Absolutely. And Elon's definitely in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah.
So maybe Bezos thinks he can get in good with Melania and she can sing his praises.
You had a good point, too, that Bernie Sanders has been browbeating Bezos for a very long time about the pay for Amazon workers, and a lot of them have been trying to unionize the drivers. Mm-hmm. And, this is going to turn into, a French Revolution type thing if billionaires keep going like this. I read a report that it was the CIA or FBI or somebody said, expect many revolutions, kind of like that Luigi that killed the CEO, that type of thing. And this is why I think this economic populist message is so good for the Democratic Party right now. Because if we can just beat the drum and continually articulate that Jeff Bezos is winning, Elon Musk is winning, Donald Trump is winning, Melania is getting $40 million, and guess what? Your eggs are still overpriced.
Well, they're going to go up.
Right.
I mean, everything is going to go up. I mean, everything I read looks like it's going to be a recession because of the tariffs.
He's already backpedaling on the tariffs.
Well, we'll see what he does.
He's backpedaling on the tariffs. His ego is so directly linked to the economy. And this is why we're talking about Greenland. This is why we're talking about the Panama Canal. This is why we're talking about the Gulf of America. This is why he's talking about all this crazy shit, because his campaign promises, he knows that he cannot deport a huge portion of our workers. He knows we can't. Right. He knows, and he has economists that tell him a huge portion of why the American economy is doing better than the rest of the world post-COVID is because of the jobs that immigration created. And he knows that. And so he's going to have a really hard time tanking his own economy. But I always have in the back of my mind during the campaign where Donald Trump's wife, Elon, said, there's going to be a hardship.
Right.
That always just kind of sits there a little bit, but I don't know. Pumps, did I tell you that I discovered that one of my telephone numbers was on the internet? And then I started getting a lot of prank calls.
No.
Yes, it was terrifying. And then I discovered DeleteMe. DeleteMe is the best way to find a solution to get unwanted private information off of the internet.
This is such an incredible service right now with all the doxing that's going on. And I also love the fact that they prevent your data being sold. I didn't realize data miners were selling data like it was a commodity.
Totally. DeleteMe isn't just a one-time service either. DeleteMe is always working for you. It constantly monitors and removes the personal information that you don't want on the internet. To put it simply, DeleteMe does all the hard work of wiping your and your family's personal information from data broker websites. Listener, take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for our listeners, today get 20% off your DeleteMe plan by texting IHIP to 64000. Again, text IHIP to 64000. That's IHIP to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Well, I was also going to say that, as expected, the most corrupt, craven Supreme Court, as an attorney, I revered the Supreme Court. They have capitulated to Donald Trump completely in a highly unusual, dare I say, unprecedented move. That Donald Trump filed a motion to delay his sentencing. The New York Supreme Court, he filed an emergency appeal to the New York court. The New York court denied it. He immediately went to the Supreme Court. Now, this is a court that couldn't move on the immunity case for 9 months.
Right.
They were able to, within 24 hours, send an order that the state of New York needed to respond to the emergency claims made in Trump's filing, which is it will forever harm the presidency if he's sentenced. I'm like, your behavior has forever marred the presidency. So I fully expect the Supreme Court to strike the Friday, January 10th sentencing date of Donald Trump. I fully expect it.
I mean, I think they probably will, because you've got the wives of these Supreme Court justices, Ginny Thomas. I've read reports that she's trying to get all up in the inauguration and all this stuff. I mean, she's a nut of the highest order. And then you have Sam Alito's wife, who hangs flags, insurrection flags at all of her properties. The Supreme Court is a laughing stock. It is a joke. And John Roberts knows it, but he's making calculations. And this is what this is what MAGA has done to a lot of people. It has radicalized moderates to the extreme, to where they are radical, anti-democracy, pro-oligarchy, pro-dictatorial leaders of this country.
Well, Clarence Thomas is not going to go against an oligarchy. My gosh, she's living off the tit of an oligarch right now.
Clarence Thomas is the worst, the absolute fucking worst. And here's one thing I want to say. When you don't listen to women, a lot of shit happens. Anita Hill, and now we have this horrible Brett Kavanaugh, who sat there like a titty baby and cried about drinking beer and all of this shit. And it's just, you don't listen to women and you get all of this corruption. And here's one thing I want to point out to you that I've been thinking a lot about. We have the tech bros, the oligarch bros. We have the MAGA bros. We have the podcasting bros. Everything is going just back to all of this bro patriarchal stuff.
Right.
When you have organizations that don't have shared gender control, you get the Catholic Church, you get the Boy Scouts, you get a lot of corruption. Having both genders in leadership positions is very, very helpful. And so, I'm just terrified by all of the shit, and it's going to be so painful to watch.
It is going to be so painful. Oh, just wanted to bring up, in terms of painful, yesterday on Don Jr.'s whirlwind trip to Greenland, he took the other intellectual giant, Charlie Kirk, with him. These are our two, and Trump's saying he wants to buy Greenland, so he sends those two fucking morons over there. And Don Jr. shouting, fake news, fake news. I mean, it's a clown car that is now international.
It's like sending two, of the coke dealers from the frat house.
Right, exactly.
Whose daddies are rich and they've never had to do anything in their lives. I mean, that's so embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
That is so embarrassing. But I did read that the reason why he wants Greenland is because it is mineral rich with all of these things that Elon Musk needs for his rockets and his cars. And so they're basically just going to rape and pillage the natural resources. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's your NATO ally, America, Denmark. Aren't we grand under Donald Trump's America?
All right. We'll see you guys later.